as we get more comfortable and as whatever, the music be up, we'll get more into the zone, everything else like that. And you will always see me, be right back, drinking coffee with protein in it. Like I said, you'll always see me with this in the morning. If you see me after 10, then you won't see me with that, because then I'm on to another different energy source. Just gonna be honest with you. Food is to be efficient. From the beginning of time, that's what food is for. And we need to get over, the sooner that we get into this understanding, especially dealing in competition, getting in shape, how you're dealing with it. And that's how you have to think of it.
You know, Lamont, I won't deviate. Whatever
No,
you
I'm
tell
not,
me,
I'm
I'll
not,
do.
I'm not saying.
But I have to tell you, we got to tweak one thing.
Okay, what is that?
The oatmeal. Oh my gosh, what can I put in it? Usually I have peanut butter and cottage cheese.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what you can do. Inside the oatmeal, and at that particular time, you can actually use flavored oatmeal if you want. You can actually put peanut butter in the oatmeal. We're going to stay away from cottage cheese because it has omega-6 and it has some good properties, but it has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties with omega-6 that actually age and actually are, scientists are proven cause cancers and other different things and stuff like that. We weren't meant to drink other mammals, babies' milk and other things like that from you. We're the only species that actually does that. If you get what I'm saying about dietary things and ice cream and things of that nature.
Right.
That's why it's gonna bug me to death. But so and I'm not against that, but if you have the understanding that it's not efficient, and that although it does give you protein, it does give you other properties, it does give you a carbohydrate mixture, so does cheese and dairy and all this other stuff, there are actually other things that go along with that that are not conducive. So when we need to, we make those adjustments because we need to, because our body is physically telling us we need to, and we know when we need to. Starting out, getting ready for a competition, going straight to the competition so quick, we start off discipline. We start off with our sight.
If I have to, I will, but
listen,
it takes
we start off with our sight,
forever.
and I'm gonna tell you just like this. Things that I'm not an oatmeal eater by any. I was never even a salad eater by any means. You can't use a grapefruit instead of oatmeal too, which I'm giving you another option. You can use broccoli instead of oatmeal in the morning. But oatmeal has a protein combination along with broccoli, asparagus, and carbohydrate combination with fiber combination that is relevant to everything that we want your body doing that early, as far as getting efficient to burn fuel efficiently throughout the day. You understand? I'm not giving you it to eat. I'm giving you it for your sustaining energy source throughout the day, so that you're not going cuckoo. You're feeling up and down and feeling like you're going to be weak in other areas because you're lacking from a need standpoint, not from a physiological need standpoint, not from a mental need standpoint.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when I structure it, it's the best thing to get the chemical reaction and get the reaction that we need as far as getting ready for a show, but at the same point, making sure that we have the basic need for function and being able to survive and being able to do the things that we need to do throughout the day. And that's going to give you a longer systemic burning process throughout the day. That's why it's structured right there, because it burns more efficiently and longer throughout the day.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
All right.
It's
Well, I'll do it, but
it's not structured from a it's not structured from a wanting to eat or having to eat or what it is you like process. It's structured from, this is what's going to give us the best opportunity. That is definitely put together because it is going to give you the best opportunity to be ready when it is the time that you need to be ready. That's all it's structured for. And it's structured for that you're not, it will keep you as healthy and as it is as close to being able to eat naturally without using any different type of drugs to stimulate you, or harmful drugs that can, there's a lot of different ways to get to different places, and some of them are not quite that safe. I just teach the safe way. I teach the natural way. Some people use cocaine, some people use steroids, some people use diuretics, some people use blah, 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 blah. I don't know what people do in their personal lives, and that's their personal lives. I don't interfere, and I don't even try to get into other people's personal lives. But what I do is promote what it is that I am and what it is that I do. And so I have a method and I have a way to get there that's efficient, that is safe, and that's doable. Once you put everything into the concept that it is for a specific purpose. It is not for a need or a want, because all of them are being fulfilled inside of that from a nutritional standpoint.
And I get that. If I have to do it, I'll do it. But
well, you don't have to.
Yesterday I was dying trying to get
you
that.
You don't have to. The reality of it is that you don't have to do any of it.
I know
the
that.
truth of it is, if you want to reach the goals that you want to reach, then those things are necessary. Okay, if you wanted the job that you had or that you have or anything else, there are certain guidelines that you have to follow when you're doing this job. That's part of the job's recommendation. You can choose not to work at the job. You can choose to go into another field. You can choose to do something else. But the guidelines are the guidelines because for some reason, somebody figured out, oh yeah, this works pretty good. Now, if there was a way that I can do it differently, where I can give you everything that you like and wanted to eat, no, I would definitely do it that way. That's my whole, if it only took 5 pounds to do that. I haven't discovered a way to do that. You understand? And science haven't discovered a way to do that as far as the obesity problem that's going on here and everything else like that. You understand what I'm saying? So, at this particular point, I have to go with what I know actually works.
That's fine, I'll eat oatmeal.
Okay. Or, like I said, you have grapefruit, you can have grapefruit, you can have broccoli, you can have asparagus. All the things on the top, the 3 things on the top of that list with oatmeal, all pretty much has the same carbohydrate, protein type of blend that we need to go along with everything else, and fiber, systemic burning energy that we need to start our day off with in that aspect, especially when we're coming here. Did you take your protein coffee mix and you have your coffee? And you can bring a coffee here if you want to. So if you have a protein coffee, instead of water, you can drink coffee throughout the whole process if you want to. Okay? All right. Any more questions?
No.
Okay.
None.
All right. Now we're going to start with my basic. All right. Now this are the things that I do. These are my tools. That's my tools. The weight room, everything here is my tool. Sometimes when there's something that I really need to know and remember, I'll jot it down. I'll take little notes just so I can be efficient. This is just something that I use, and I may share it with you. I may not share it with you. So it's nothing personal, but it's things so that I know what direction that my thought process is going with my clients and everything else, and I can always review what it is that I'm thinking. Because believe it or not, I have to be on point. I have to know exactly what it is. It's not, I don't do cookie cutter workouts. You know what I'm saying? It's very specific to the person that I'm dealing with. So when they ask me the tough questions, I can be honest. Well, you didn't work hard this day. I asked you to do this and you didn't do this. If you're not seeing the results, you can place blame here, but let's take self-evaluation and let's see how close you've been to the program. You understand? Let's see how much you've been to where it was. You understand what I'm saying? So that we can, I'll take my share of whatever it is because I'm a man and I'm a professional. But I want you to understand this is what was being asked. This is where you didn't. This is where you did. You understand what I'm saying? This is how long it took to get to here. We had to stay here because we didn't go efficiently. We had to always keep going back to form. See, most people don't understand. A lot of times you have to train to be ready to train. Like right now, I'm always aware, like you may be in a little flush, and you've been on here a little bit. I see you're breathing a little bit different. Your knees are starting to get wide again. You're losing focus. You're not driving your knees. I'm always aware in my domain exactly what's going on, and I can tell when people are losing focus. So that's part of a process about being disciplined and fading out of discipline, going back to what it was because we were having a conversation, because you're getting a little bit more relaxed, and because you're going somewhere else. In order to get to that straight line, in order to practice repetition, in order to make it also become a habit, we need to practice these things until we don't have to think about it. So if I didn't say what I just said to you, your knees would have never came back in line. You would have did 100. You did 200 this way and getting close to habit, and then you go back to this and you do 500 that way, and then re-practice what you just didn't do, or redo what it was that you were actually working on, from breathing, from everything else like that. But that's just the human nature. But just as a trainer and just as someone who's very aware of their environment at all times and been doing this for so long, I catch things like that. So even in that correction, you corrected it by me saying that. You'll hear it on tape, and I'll say that all the time. I say that all the time to my clients and everything else like that, because you'll be like, oh, I don't even really think it mattered. Well, if it didn't matter, I wouldn't have told you that in the first place. And if you have to think about doing it, then it means that you haven't learned that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It means that it's not necessarily habit for you at that particular time. Let's start off with form, and then I'm going to get you. All right, let's start off with breathing. Breathing is a good thing. Everybody needs air to survive for the most part, unless you know something that I don't know. Breathing from a exercising standpoint is done in a lot of different ways. From a moving weight standpoint, the best way that science and that I know to breathe is in when I'm up and I'm doing a descension, I'm slightly squatting, lifting, picking something up. I'm slightly holding my breath for a brief moment to keep my lung capacity, my spine, everything anatomically correct. If I'm not holding my breath, now I slunch and things and muscle fibers and bones are not stacked properly over each other, so it becomes partly dangerous and it becomes difficult. And oxygen at some point becomes a fuel source. It is a fuel source, usually at all points, but in exercising at some point it becomes more of a fuel source than other things do, and that's in the aerobic capacity of things. So we use oxygen efficiently. Right now you're not really thinking about it, and nobody's really thinking about it. When you get tired, when you go to the doctor checks and they want to hear your lungs. They go to your back, and what do they tell you to do? They tell you take a deep breath from your back. So that's how you breathe when you're tired, to get the maximum amount of oxygen into your lungs. And then they tell you blow out, and you blow it all the way out. Now, you can take control of your breathing, or you can do it naturally. Usually if I say something about breathing, people start thinking about it, and so you take control of it. Or naturally your body breathes for you, so that your heart and everything keep pumping. You, in taking control of your breathing, especially in exercising, it works as a stabilizer, it works as a fuel source, it works as a way to cool yourself down, it works as a way to calm your mind down. That's why people meditate and they breathe and they have breathing practices and stuff like that. It works as a way to stay efficient and stay focused. What usually happens when people are fatigued and people get tired, they hunch over, they stop breathing. The very opposite of what you should do, because lactic acid and other things start happening and build up of lactic acid and other things and stuff like that. From my standpoint, when people are training with me and they hunch over and they whatever and they plop down and everything else, we start from that point back at the beginning. Because it being in shape, part of being in shape is presenting yourself in shape. It's part of being confident about being in shape. It's a part of knowing that you're in shape. So at this particular point, if you're not in shape, we don't plop down, we don't hunch over, we don't do this stuff. We'll start out back over because I think in this aspect, it's better to fake it than it is until you get there and you actually don't do that. This is part of the reason why I do this, and this is anybody I've trained, athletes or anything, or just a regular person, it's because the plopping over and all this stuff is a sign of laziness. And I don't mean the aspect of your own laziness, but being out of shape and fatigue. And in laziness come error. You understand what I'm saying? So if I allow people to practice laziness, practice just dropping the weight and stuff like that, there comes error, and in error comes a sense of getting hurt and a sense of I'm dreading to do something. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you can see, this would never really occur like this, but in this explaining, and anytime that we're doing something and you're not in exercise, you will be on a piece of equipment moving. This is your actual rest. Get used to it. This is the way that you rest. Because in aerobic capacity and aerobic movement, which is proven by us being alive, that we can sustain our rest and we can get our body back in a calming manner, even though we're being actively doing something. Because if that wasn't true, then we all would be dead, because our heart is always continuously beating. So there is some resting properties in our aerobic capacity of movement. I know this, science know this. People know it, but they don't understand it. So it's not as hard as you think it is. So if our heart can withstand that, which is the most important thing to us as far as a muscle for life, then any other part of our body, any other part of our physiology can withstand, for the most part, majority of that. You know what I'm saying? Some parts are stronger than others. Some people have bigger and stronger hearts than others, from a physical and from a mental aspect when we talk about heart. You understand? So we develop both of them, and we try to develop the whole mind-body connection with everything that we do. I know you're getting a little tired. I can see you breathing, and a little repetitive. I know you don't actually like cardio, and I know it is, but it is. It is. By the time in a couple weeks, this will no longer be cardio. You'll be wanting to get over here on here than to be out in this battlefield out here. This is a safe place over here, okay? There's only so many different things that I can ask over here. Out here, this is a battlefield. This is a safe area. This is a battlefield. Inside of here, the properties and the principles step up and whole nother lights. The expectations are very high inside of here. And I tell you this because I tell my athletes and I tell anybody this. It's like when you're getting ready for a game. Outside the lines, you can be whoever you want to be. Inside the lines, you have to be what it is that you are out there to be and to perform and to do. And you have to take that mindset. When you step outside of the line, that's the safe place over there. Then you can kind of relax, go to yourself. You can kind of get your own thoughts together. You kind of assess yourself, what's going on. When you step inside of the line, you need to be focused. You need to be on point about what it is that we're doing, and we need to be efficient, because I just believe in being efficient. You don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. The longer it takes to get you efficient, the longer it takes for us to be able to work hard, for us to be able to push forward. You understand what I'm saying? And I am 100% on your pace. I'm on all my clients' pace. If we never get off of just the beginning stage, it still serves a purpose, because we actually are working, and anything is better than nothing. Now, our expectations may not be met because we weren't able to make those transitions, and hence that's where my notebook come in. When you say, well, how come? Well, this is what we did at this time. This is what we did at this time. This is how we had to do this, and everything else like that. If you want to move forward, I think you're ready, but I think you need to put more effort, or I think you need to be more disciplined here, or I think you need to do this. This is my evaluation as a professional. You know, I can't move somebody forward if they're not ready. You understand what I'm saying? That would be unprofessional, and that would be dangerous. You understand? Okay, so that's where we are. Now, in saying that, I just cover a lot of things that is working out without actually working out, that are very prudent and important and direct, because now you understand what it is that I am when it comes to training. Now you have an understanding of me, you have an understanding of the expectations, you have an understanding of how I move forward, you have an understanding of how, if you want to move forward, to move forward. You understand? And if you don't, listen to this video and it'll be very clear if you didn't catch everything. I'm still evaluating your knees going forward, to your feet placement, to your breathing, to your posture, to if you're relaxed, if you're not relaxed, how do you relax, to you still a little bit unrelaxed because it's still a new experience. You never have put your hands on the thing, which is the machine thing, and that's the way. And it's probably still cardio, which I'm still learning how you do cardio. But that's just all part of my evaluation of what I do when I can tell. And I'm learning someone because you're learning what it is that I'm teaching. I'm learning what it is, how to teach you, and how to go forward with it. Make sense to you? Okay. All right. All right, in your resting spot and in your resting area, this is my clock. Most of the times I use a timer because as you look at some of this stuff, there's certain times that people need in certain exercises to fully recover or not be fully recovered, to go into different energy sources, to train different energy sources and stuff like that. And I utilize it so that I can be efficient, so that it's not guesswork, so that I know, okay, we got 2 minutes, we're going here, 3 minutes, we're going here. And that just, it's nothing personal, just but from the scientific of what recovery is, that is usually whatever the amount of time that recovery is, and that is the best way to stay efficient and stay on task for what it is that we need to do. So you'll hear me all the time, okay, start. Like you'll hear this, and I'll be like, all right, in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we'll start over here, unless something come up, but that's our plan, and you'll hear this going, you'll call, it'll be timing. 10 seconds. And I'll be explaining in 2 minutes. 30. So now, we're going to perform posture. Posture in every athletic stance or in every movement or anything that I've known to be athletic is always simply a stacking from whatever is considered the actual solid foundation to wherever it is that you're going with whatever it is that you're working. So it always builds from a solid foundation. If you're in air, then the foundation is your body still because you control that, but it's very hard in air unless you have so much, and then it's a higher part. That's what skydiving and flipping and all the other stuff. But from a lifting standpoint, you always build things from the ground up. Well, I do, and I always tell my athletes to build these things from the ground up. Let me stop this. As you can see how stressful that get when everything's going on, your music, everything, you get the countdown, all this other stuff, knees driving, knees straight, feet. This is how people run. This is the movement of running where the calf, the gastric, the hamstring, the quads. If you look how my knee is driving, if I get like this is inefficient. This is an efficient movement, and this develops an efficient leg and biomechanic movement. That's how we run. So our heels kind of press down, and our feet, our toes coming up. So when we like this, and only on when we're pressing off through our heel being like that. And so when you're coming down, you're driving down from the balls of your feet, and if you move that efficiently, the muscles and the structures of the ligaments and everything else will be preserved and loosened up more efficiently. If you're not moving efficiently, then things will loosen up, but the biomechanics of the whole thing under stress will fall apart, and hence you won't be able to perform however it is that you need to perform, and injury and other things will occur. So the reason why I backed out of that is to be efficient in any kind of movement. This has got to be a thought process. Hips driving up, underneath, right inside your armpit or to your armpit. Breathing in line. If you lean back in there, you can almost feel like you're running. If you lean forward or you stand up on it, you can almost feel like you're riding on a bike, pedaling hard on a bike. From wherever your spine angle, you could get different feelings of property of actually moving in your biomechanics and practice your proper biomechanics movement from riding, standing up, to running in that area, to just basically riding what you're doing right now. So there's a lot of different things and a lot of different properties, a lot of different things you can work on to make yourself more efficient and to build muscle memory and to build natural habit, so that you don't have to just think of it as just being cardio or whatever, because I do want you working on those things because it's going to develop everything and going to loosen you up and keep you more efficient as a human being as far as movement goes. And the aging process is, to me, is the lack of mobility. You understand what I'm saying? You can be young, but if you ever see someone who has that arthritic type disease and stuff like that, and they can't really move, they not only can't move, but they look much older than what they usually actually are, because of mobility is a youthful thing in animals and everything else. When older animals get older and get less mobile, they usually wander off to themselves and go into the afterlife or whatever. Um, Quantity of life is beautiful. I would love to live to be a long time. But if I can't have quality of life, please put me down, because I don't want to be where I have to depend on anyone else. Not that I'm pretty sure that my family and other people wouldn't be there for me, but just from my own standpoint, that I like my own freedom of being able to do things. And in order to sustain that freedom, we have to have mobility in some capacity. So we practice those particular things. So it's feet solid. Anytime that we're in a ready position from an athletic standpoint, the hips will rotate back, so the butt actually go out, so the pelvic will rotate back. There'll be a slight bend in the knees won't be locked out. The knees are locked out, then the spine is doing something else, and the hips are doing something else. And then you're stacking over it, which is called hyperextension to the knees, and you can get some arthritic properties. And sometimes when you're lifting, people will do that, but you always hear me say, get into a bend. This is the most athletic base where you can move laterally, you can move forward, you can step. And if you ever something from swinging a baseball to shooting a free throw to backpedaling to running back to making a tackle to throwing a football, from swinging a tennis racket, from swinging a golf club, from shooting a gun, from anything that you do, anything, you'll always see that movement come into play as far as a ready and a most stabilizing and body alignment position. And that is the most anatomically correct functional action position to us as human beings. Now other animals have different, because they have a different biological makeup, but for us as humans, that is the most efficient position to get into. That is key and important to the whole development of what we're doing here. That is the foundation of the principle of why I live the way that I live. That is the foundation of the principle of why people that I train live as good as they live, because we can get into that ready position efficiently, and so we demand every aspect of our body to engage in whatever it is that we're doing. So when I'm training my arms, and I guess I'll be showing off a little bit. You see I'm in this position. Right here from picking this up and doing it right now, I'm working my abs. My core is being worked, probably more than I'm doing abs. And it's not my primary right now. I can feel it in my glutes, I can feel it in my hamstrings, I can feel it in my calves, I can feel it all the way through the floor. Now if I was like this, I wouldn't feel it like that. Now I don't feel it in my calves and stuff like that because I'm hyperextended. I don't feel it in my back. My erected spinal group isn't being coming into play because I'm leaning back. My quadriceps, I don't feel it in my gluteus maximus minimus. I feel it more in my hands. My shoulders are getting pulled, something different, so it's more of a man. And now I'm getting ready to swing it, so kinetic energy is going to be part of the process and not really my own natural energy through me building muscle. So now I'm probably like 30% into what it is that I want to do. So if I did 100 reps at 30%, I only really do 30. As if I was like this and did 30 reps at 100%, I'll do 30 reps, and now I can save 40 for another movement to be more efficient at another day. So now I'm in this movement. My elbows are pointed down. I'm in my correct biomechanics stance. I feel everything engaged. Then I come up. And I come up. Work from my body. Shoulders moving, so half of my energy, half of my core didn't actually get work. And that is just only because I got into the proper biomechanics stance. So when I see people in the gym or when I see people training, they can do the same exact thing that I'm doing. If they don't have an understanding of that, they're actually doing something that's less efficient than what I'm doing. So I see people all the time, they go into the gym, they worked out for years. You can stop pedaling right now. I don't give you an opportunity just, but I don't, when you stop pedaling and when you do these things, because we're going to talk, and you did a good job, about 40 minutes in, we're going to have a quick 20-minute session where we're going through all these particular things and we're going to get some work in. I don't want to over cardio. I don't want you to think you're coming from cardio, but this is so important. When you see people, and I've seen people in the gym for years, and they train and they look the same, in great shape, but can't change the way that they look. The reason why they can't change the way that they lift, and they lift heavy and do everything else, because their biomechanics is off. So their body don't work efficiently. So they can't really develop. They think that they're working a certain muscle group, but they're not efficiently. And so it doesn't match with what they're thinking. So if I'm doing something and it's not matching with what I'm thinking, I become frustrated because I'm not seeing the development in what it is that I think that it is that I'm doing. It's not because they don't work hard, not because they're not at the gym, not because they don't want to do it, not because they're not trying to do it, but they have a lack of understanding of how to do it correctly and affect that muscle group the way that they want it to affect. You understand what I'm saying? Being inefficient. And so, for lack of a better way of explaining it, it's beneficial, but it's frustrating at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Because the expectations are never being met. And then usually people will give up, or either they like working out and they continue to do it and they'll continue to look the same until somebody will come along and they'll correct it, and then they'll have this big gain and shoot up, and there'll be a new world. You understand? And all that is just with a correction, and we're just using proper biomechanics and proper understanding of what it is that you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? So that's very important. So in performing a bench, and we'll use inclines now in the chest, shoulder tie-in, muscle groups tie-in. You can't develop particular muscles, but you can develop particular groups of muscles together. So I'll go naturally with just a natural bench press. I always start the bench press. I start with my feet. Once again, I'm building my posture. That's my first connection. If my feet are up, then my butt and my spine, my gluteus maximus, and other things become my first connection. Which sometimes I will do this if I want to work balance, but it's not really necessary. I always have an arc in my back, so I can feel like I'm putting my arm or putting my hand through here. My second point of connection will be my hips to my butt. I have that same posture that it is if I was going to throw a ball. My next point of connection will be my shoulder blades, not my back, because I have that arc in my back and that's the way my spine curves. Then my next point of connection will be against the apparatus that I'm actually using. Right now I happen to be a bar, it could be dumbbells or whatever, which is what I'm actually using to go into the pectoral, shoulder, tie muscle, secondary muscle, triceps when I come up at a certain distance from there. Now with hand placement, all these bars always have markings on them so that you can get even on both sides. You know, so if the weight's even on both sides, it should balance out. I usually say in a bench press, your thumb should be a little bit outside or right underneath your armpits, usually where your most power position is. As I come out, up here is always anything that we do, we always lift off. When I'm spotting, I'll bring the bar off, we'll start here, and I'll say, okay, go on and take it. We don't make any movements until that's there because that's just a safety issue, so we're both on the same page. Usually I'll give a 3-second count off, probably like 1, 2, 3, lift, bring it off, we'll stay here, I'll say ready, we'll go. On the bench press or in the descension part of the bench press, you want to stay balanced. If I get too far out of here, gravity will pull me forward. If I get too far back here, gravity will pull it back. So you want to stay in a balanced position. The biomechanics is that the elbows lead the thing down, the exercise down in a bench or a shoulder movement. So if you don't try to control it from the bar, because the wrist and everything else can do a lot of other different things, the best way that I've been able to teach it and that I utilize it so that you can really focus on what it is that you're doing, I think of my elbows, how my elbow angles are coming down. My elbows are coming down right here. Then I know right now that my pectorals are engaged, my triceps are engaged, and they're efficient. My elbows are coming right here. I know that my triceps are probably dominant on this exercise, less outside my pecs, just from a biomechanical. My elbows are coming wide out here. Now I know my chest muscle is primary, the exercise being worked from a biomechanical, and a little bit of my tricep. And so that's where the actual movement and hand placement and the different angles that you can create and the different muscle groups that you go in just by creating those different angles that you come in. So in close here, there's going to be more tricep, a little bit of chest as a secondary, a little bit of front delt. Right here is probably going to be your truest power position, more chest, tricep, front delt, all incorporated together right here. All wider right here, it's going to be more pectoral. That's because of the nature of the muscle, less tricep because it's turned out and it's actually stabilized right here. Just a little movement and some delt work right in here. Also with that, the different angles that I come at will affect how I work more into my shoulders, the upper part my pectoral and delt tie-in. People usually say upper lower chest. That's not really true. It's pectoral major, pectoral minor, which pectoral minor pull the arms in like this, so it really doesn't play a big part in it. And then there's front delts, clavicle tie-in, you know, then there's side delts and all the other things and stuff like that. When you have an understanding of the biomechanics of what the muscles are supposed to do, then you have a better understanding to get into the muscles. For you as a woman, which I can see right now, is that in order to bring your overall look out to make it a lot better, we're going to have to develop your delts more better, get them a little bit more sweepy, a little bit more ball in your delts, so when you stand in a bodybuilding position like this, it looks full. You don't look like this. You don't look narrow through here. You know, and for a fitness and even from a bodybuilding standpoint, it's just a better aesthetic look to do that. So we'll do a lot of incline work, a lot of shoulder work. The flat bench from a woman and even for a man is that gravity pulls everything down from our skin to our chest, our muscles, fat, and everything else like that. So we get the sagginess of gravity. So when you have a full chest, gravity pulls the chest down and it gives the full development of the chest, the same way with the delts and everything else like that. So people always say, I want to work my lower chest, but you really don't work the lower chest. But people say that, but you're not letting them do that. But you can work it in a...
So how does that work? I was just talking to, Shelly and I were just talking about it last night, and he said, you know, most female bodybuilders have implants.
Yeah.
How are we going to lift these up? Because I don't.
Well, it's not.
I mean, I'm
it's
an
not,
all-natural
well, I'm gonna
girl.
tell you what. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. What is actually going to happen is that they're going to probably get smaller because they're a fat deposit. You understand? And the fat deposit shrinks when the fat goes away from the body. So the muscle underneath will become more prevalent, and it's not natural for the aesthetics of it. So you just look more flat.
Well, I gotta tell you, this is the biggest I've ever been in my life, and I feel obese.
Okay, well then they're going to shrink up because they're actually a natural fat deposit. Let's start pedaling it a little bit. And we're going to probably run over probably about 10 minutes, but this is just very important. I always got to go to,
I said I'm not working today, I'm being lazy.
Okay.
So.
Next week we'll probably go 4 days, and I'm just going to give you 2 days because we need to speed up the process if you want to or when you can. We're going to.
I don't want to shorten you. Because
no, listen. You're not shorting me because I need to be able to speed up the process, and I do what it is because I have to be efficient. So, like today, I don't, I count it as a training session. I don't count it as training, but this is probably the most important part of the training session. And I always go through these steps like this. I don't tell people naturally, oh yeah, the first couple times I'm just going to talk or whatever. They don't have any expectations, but then they'll be disappointed because they always want to avoid it. But this is important. This is important. And so this isn't just for you. I usually do this for all my clients to let them know, let's get on the right path. This is what I'm investing into the process. But I want you to invest into the process too, and this is what is important to that. You understand what I'm saying? If I say that from the beginning, if I would have said that in the beginning, you wouldn't have understood it like you understand it now, because now you're actually here doing it, and you can see that I'm investing into the process because I'm investing 2 more days and 2 more hours of my time to make sure that we start off and we get on the right track. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And you're not shorting me because it's going to make my job a lot easier, and I know in the long run it's just going to make my job a lot easier if I do it this way. You understand what I'm saying? So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be next week, it could be the week after that, but it has to be sometime soon so we can get this whole process and get a whole training week down, get it on film, and then you can utilize it. So then when you do your 2 days, the 2 days that you do by yourself, you've actually done that with me and you have an understanding of it, and we have a training record of it.
Okay.
It makes sense. All right, so come on over. We're going to work on getting onto the machine. All right, let's start right over here. All right, start back over here. Steps, come back over here. All right. When you walk over here, you're coming into the training area. So we're trying to be focused. Come over here knowing that you have to do a job. When you're coming over here, the only thing that's really important, the only thing that you're really going through is the sequence to get efficient to do the work that you have to do. The work only lasts at the most, if you're going endurance, it may last 1 minute and 15 seconds, okay? And that's not really long. Most of the time mean, only lasts about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. A true workout really only takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Everything else is recovery and other stuff inside of it. And when you understand it, then we don't have a lot of room for error. If you do a body part per week, there's 52 weeks in a year. That's 52 workouts. People don't work out 52 times or every week for a whole year. So let's say that you miss 10 workouts. That's 42 workouts. And let's say something happened and you miss a couple more. That's 30-something times that you're really only in a particular body part, specifically training that particular body part in a year. When you really get the breakdown of the numbers and everything else like that. So to be efficient and to come in prepared and understanding that you're only going to do this really 30-something times, maybe in a year at best. You understand what I'm saying? Just to know that you really can't waste an opportunity to do it correctly and to get something out of it for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll come here, we'll build our foundation. You'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and get on, sit down, we're ready for the bench. We'll start with your feet. I'll say slide up a little bit so I'll give you a little room. All right, you start your feet, go ahead and lay back. Your eyes always be below the bar so that you have room to come back. Start with building your foundation. Make you have sure you have arching back. Bring your hands up to the bar. I'm gonna slide that way. Slide that way. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. I like that. All right. Put your hands up on the bar. Even on both sides. Good. There you go. We'll say lift up. Your shoulder blades will be into here. That's where you're pressing at too. We'll say 1, 2, 3. Up. We'll bring it off. Hold it up. Let's start up here. I'll hear a little bit more. Back, 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 back. Hold it straight up. Lock out your arms. Right here. All right, I know. Right here, you'll get off balance. Right there, you'll get off balance. You feel the difference? That's the balancing point. So when the bar comes down, you're leading with your elbows. You're holding your breath a little bit. Go down with the bar. There you go. Elbows right there. That's the aiming point. And then back up to the balancing point. There you go. Blowing out, taking in another breath, holding your breath, going down with the bar, blowing out. There you go. Let's get a couple reps. Go ahead. Keep going. And up. Good job. Keep going. Stay in balance and up. Working your elbows. Good job. And down. And up. Work on your breathing. And down. And up. Now I want you to go on the rhythm. Stay on that same rhythm. And down. And up. Good job. And down. And up. One side got it lopsided. Keep your head straight. Keep your body straight. And down. And up. 10 from here. Ready? And down. And up. 9. Come on. And up. 8. Again. And up. 7. Again. And up. 6. Keep going. And up. 5. And up. 4. And up. 3. And up. 2. And up. One more. One more. And up. Finish. Straight up. Finish up. Don't push it back. Finish up. And then you put it back. And we rack it. Go ahead and get it back on the bike. Good job. Got your glasses. Go ahead and start back riding. You go. Go ahead and start back riding. All right. As you can see, I did 2 things in there. Judging your balance and strength. What happens is when we fatigue, we get more off balance. We get less balance oriented. We get less focused.
I felt it.
And we get closer to collapsing and giving in mentally. Mentally, you will always give in before physically, before your body will actually truly fail or truly give in to an exercise. So most of that is a mental process. Control with your breathing, control with the thought process, control with pushing yourself. When you said it was heavy, purposely, after you had did repetitions, I said let's do 10 more. It was partly to test your tenacity, partially to test to see how you handle yourself under stress, under pressure, under being tired, under the balancing, under being pushed. And so I could kind of get a read on you, how you perform when you're doing the things, how you come back, and do you put your knees back in line, do you breathe, do you do the things that you're supposed to do with the bike, how do you act after you had a tense or stressful situation. That's all lifting weights or whatever it is inducing stress to get a result to our body, to strengthen us in an aspect of whatever it is that we're training. And so I got to evaluate you. I got to see a little bit of your balance, form, technique, how you got in and out of the process, how you responded being under fire, how you responded to getting out of the process of being under fire, where are we starting from and where we need to go to, how we need to push ourselves and other things and stuff like that. Like you just slow down, you're pedaling, you're not on rhythm, you're a little bit stuck, you're a little bit winded. Yeah, all those things. It tells me your overall physical capacity and conditioning and what we got to do to bring it up. You know, and from that aspect, I don't know, you probably had training before, but I'm pretty sure they never did this and they never were this in tune and done these particular things and seeing how you fail and how you succeed, how you get back. Now you just slow down again, you know, the different things. Like what that does is allow you to critique yourself and to see where it is that you can improve on. I'm just reflecting what's going on in the situation, guiding the process, allowing you to understand yourself, understand when you fatigue, understand when you're breaking, understand how to get back under control, understand how to push yourself. You understand? Most people don't understand how to push themselves, and most people can't explain to people how to push themselves. But what I can explain is what it is that you're doing to show me that you are losing focus or that you are going on, from my perspective, from where I'm sitting at. And when I say these things, it'll bring you back into reality. Like, oh, okay, I can see that. Okay, I didn't notice that. Things that you would normally notice about yourself, or things that you would normally pick up on, which is qualities to giving up or qualities to not being productive in what it is that you need to do to get where it is that you need to get to. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. All right. I have that evaluated. We're just going with the primal. Keep going. Keep pedaling. We're just going with the primal movements at this particular point. Next, we're going to go with squat. Now, there's ranges of motion, and what I mean by the primal movements: squat, bench press, and deadlift are my primal movements, my primal exercises that I use to get people in shape, because they are the primal movements for existence as human beings. Pushing, lunging, dragging. It's just our, from a training aspect, it's called primal movements, and those are the movements that we use to be efficient. It makes us human, unlike other animals that don't have all those particular movements. In a squatting exercise, the movement, and I'll demonstrate it, speed it up a little bit, is that I always start on the opposite side of the bar, and you'll start on the opposite side of the bar, so that you can spot and get your arms and get your hand ready to where you need to be. The bar actually rests across your shoulder blades. If it's too far on your neck, you'll push your spine forward and your head will be down. You know where you can't get your spine. If it's too far, go like here, it'll lean you up and you can get your spine that way, that you'll go forward and your biomechanics will get off the line. And when you start getting heavier, you start getting tired, it'll fall apart and you'll quit just from a biomechanics. And even if you don't quit, you'll probably injure yourself. You know, so if you're tough enough to not quit, you'll probably hurt yourself. And if you're not tough enough to quit, if you're not tough enough for that, you'll definitely quit. And then you'll lose vital movements and vital reps that you can get at that particular time that are very important, because 1, 2, 3 is always just balancing, getting checked, unless it's maximum weight overload. So those reps are just getting to a point to where you're actually exercising, to getting into the muscle and getting what you want as far as the energy source and the training inside that muscle. From a foot standpoint, there's different things you can do. We can turn out, go right here. But just from, I'm just starting with the basics, the same thing as like with the bench press, biomechanically. Want to make sure that our heels feel like they're underneath our armpits, or if we're going to jump up, that's usually pretty much your power position, and the position that you need to be in to produce energy from the ground to power the movement in the actual squatting process and the up process, the contraction process of coming up with the bar. Now, from an athletic standpoint, we work on different things. From a bodybuilding and an aesthetic standpoint, there's a particular movement that I like with the hips and squatting to actually develop the glutes really nice and develop the legs really nice. And what that is that it's a pelvic forward. When you come up, pelvic forward, lean down with the butt, pelvic forward type of movement. So it's actually kind of isolating but it's also isolated in a compound movement. Now, I don't do that when we're going heavy or if I'm training my athletes because it's not efficient, because it actually does promote a out of biomechanic locking type of mechanism, but it makes you squeeze the glutes, it makes you squeeze everything, it makes you contract everything, and it actually makes you use your hips for the movement. From an athlete, I'm going to tell you the difference. From an athletic standpoint, you'll lead down with your butt, but you'll bring your knees up and you'll drive up with your chest. You understand what I'm saying? You see, and so from an efficient, I'll show you right here. This is my bodybuilding move. You lean down with your butt still, or you'll drive up with your hips and they'll come up and forward like a forward thrust. From an athletic standpoint, you'll lean down with your butt, but you'll drive up with your chest and your legs will kind of come in a little bit to stabilize, to drive up. And that's from an efficiency athletic standpoint, where you can get maximum weight and stay over your spine and not lock it up. From a bodybuilding aspect, you lean up with your hips so the weight actually kind of comes back a little bit, but it's a beautiful movement in development and for the development of all the muscles in the legs, along with the glutes, along with being efficient, along with not having to go so heavy. If the hips are going like this, people that I've seen do that movement, and I've actually practiced that movement probably like the last 3 years. It's just how you have a beautiful leg development and a beautiful glute, everything tying development. And that's one of my secrets that people don't understand or don't probably know. And the people that do know it, I know that they know it because they're actually doing it. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I know that this person knows that. It gets us developed a lot faster in our lower region. Instead of, if we didn't use that movement, we'll have to do the power movement. Then we'll have to do lunges to do the hips. And lunges help and everything else too, but we do it. But we actually get to assimilate and actually incorporate more muscle fibers by using that movement. So I'm going to have you demonstrate. I'm going to demonstrate it. Different from my power training movement, this is for my bodybuilding development aesthetic movement, is that my knees are back. If my feet are back here, let me start right here. My feet are back here. My knees are going to come over my feet. That's going to work the lower region of my quadriceps, but it's actually going to be really hard on my knees, and it's actually going to not feel real good. And if you have bad knee development, it's actually going to be something that we're going to try to stay away from. But I wanted to show you that so that you understand that these clips on the Smith machine only allows you to go so far down with the weight. Probably apply it in a second. Yep. What's going on? You here? Yeah, I am, but just come in and get on the treadmill. Open the door. Just come in and start walking, and I'll get you going. They're usually pretty efficient, but we're still fine. So let me on the treadmill. And so from a biomechanics standpoint, get them knees straight, working and breathing, dry. Stay at the same pace that we were just at. Working legs from a biomechanic standpoint, working on cardiovascular. Even though we increased the tension on it, we're still staying at the same pace, so now it's causing our heart rate to go up. So we're working. I can still see the choppiness and not the fluidity, but you're trying to stay there. Make sure you're breathing. Let your mouth and your face relax. You relax your jaws and relax your face. It usually relaxes your neck and relaxes your whole body. From a running aspect, that's how my people run. From an exercising aspect, that's how you get the tension and relax and be able to breathe more naturally. Good job. All right, keep working. Now I'll bring it down. I just wanted to put you under fire, under stress, to kind of get you the understanding, the seriousness of what it is. Yeah, it is. So from a biomechanics standpoint, we come up on, especially on the bar is stabilizing, so you're not getting a lot of stabilizing muscles that are working. But when we use free bar, you will have to use the. So on here, you can walk out a little bit so that you got a little bit of tilt where it becomes a hack squat, with your feet over here so that your knees don't go over your toes. So when you're coming down, chin up, chest up, slight bend, in an athletic position, you'll lean down with the butt. As the butt comes in sitting motion, you push the pelvic forward. So down, pelvic forward. Down, pelvic forward. Now this is specifically to bodybuilding, development, vanity movement that is just so quick at developing the overall legs, glutes, everything, tighten it up, making it look really nice. So we're going to use that movement. It's not efficiently like lifting heavy or whatever because it's a biomechanic area in that movement, but I use it because just from a development standpoint, it's just the best that I've seen so far. So I've incorporated into that movement. So let's come over and give this a try. After we do this, then we're going to be good. All right, go ahead. Start on the other side of the bar. Okay, you're going to spot your hands. There you go. Okay. All right, start back over here again. Start back over here. Stepping into the discipline area, and I want you to, it may sound funny and it may sound whatever, but this is where the work is done. This is the comfort area, this is the discipline area. So when we come here, let's be aware. I know that this is the first time, so you do have some questions and stuff like that, but let's make sure that we're serious and we understand the serious nature that we can injure ourselves and we don't want that. Right. And that we want to get work done once again. We may only go do this 30 times in a year, so keep that in perspective. So let's walk back over here. Get ready. There you go. You start on the other side of the bar. There you go. You start with placing your hands on to make sure your hands are even. Let's say a little bit wider than that. All right. On this bar, these bars always have like a markings on them so that you know. You want to try to get to the middle of this with your shoulder blades so that you're even on both sides. So when you go underneath, we're going to go down underneath to the middle of your shoulder blades. Perfect. So it feel like you can feel where it's not pushing forward on your neck. It's on that bone right there. Thoracic, lumbar, cervical. Okay. The thoracic, cervical. I always got to do that. That's fine, right? Right. And so this is a mini squat already position. You're already in a mini squat when you're lifting this off. So on the lift off, you'll slightly push up, and on this machine, you rotate the bar back. Hands to stay up underneath here, rotating the bar back, keeping that up. The elbows will be right here. There you go. Stabilize. It's all stabilizing. Unlock your knees. Athletic position. You don't want to lock your knees. There you go. And so when you're coming down, go ahead and lay down with your glutes. There you go. Keep your chest up, chin up, and leave up with your hips. Hips forward and up. Don't swoop under. Again. So again, lay down with your glutes. There you go. And up. Hips forward. There you go. Just right there. There you go. Back down. How's it move? And up. Hips forward. There you go. So on the breathing, you're holding on it down. So deep breath. Down. And up with the hip. Blow out. There you go. Deep breath. Down. Nice. And up. Chin up, chest up. Deep breath. Down. And up. Hips forward. There you go. Deep breath. Down. And up. Hips forward. Deep breath. Down. And up. 5 more. Deep breath down. Slow it down. Stay on treadmill. And up. Same pace up. Same pace now. And up. 3 more. And up. Breathe up. Eyes up. 2 more. And up. Good job. 1 more. And up. So you keep right here. We'll rotate it in. Make sure we come down to the front. Back on the bike. Good job. Good one. How did that feel?
Good.
Okay. What you did do, you got a little quick with the movement down in here. And I'll explain and show it to you real quick. And we'll lower this. The lower we go, the different range of motion. So we didn't have a really good full range of motion. It was a good range of motion. So the lower we go, the more into the glutes, the more into the legs that we're going to. Where here it stays into the hips and the upper part. But as we get lower, what you did, what you got here,